Welcome to the Voices of Redemption podcast. I've got my close friend. I want to call you almost a sister, Renee Graziano here. Super excited about this one. Renee, why don't you tell them where you from?
Well, if you don't know me from Mob Wives, you know me from, Celebrity Big Brother. Oh, wait, I'm bragging a little bit.
No, please do. Please lay it all out.
TV. No, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm a 3-time author. I have a cookbook, How to Use a Meat Cleaver. I have an erotic novel, Playing with Fire, and I have a children's book, Grandma and Me on the Run. I am in the process of writing my memoir, and I am up for about 5 more TV shows right now.
I'm telling you, you're always moving and grooving. I'm telling you, and regardless of what's going on in your life, you know what I mean? That's something that you've always been. You've always got something going on. It's crazy. I don't know how you jumble it.
Well, I fumble it. Actually, no, I think for a few years, well, since my father died, I'll say I've had more downs than ups, more losses than wins, in the sense of business. When it comes to my life, I'm thriving. Like, I don't even know how I'm in the chair, and you know this firsthand, which we'll get into. But it is God likes me.
Yeah,
and no, God loves me, and I love him just as much, and I think that it's my faith that keeps me alive.
That makes me emotional, you know what I mean? Because I know you personally, and I know what you've been through, you know what I mean? And to see you like still, staying strong and regardless of all the trials and tribulations that you've had in your life, like you're sitting in this chair today sober as fuck and still just like attacking life.
Watch this.
Yeah. Sober as fuck.
Sober as fuck. Sober as fuck.
Hell yeah.
So that's how sober I am. And I want to shout out my girl Tony, who's on there right now. She bought me the socks. She buys me beautiful gifts.
Shout out Tony for the sober as fuck socks.
Tony
I need a pair of those.
Tony girl, we're going to need another pair of sober socks.
Yeah.
But that's where I am at today. And I'm very proud. Also, I know this might sound strange. I'm also very proud of my downfall for the simple reason that if that didn't happen, I wouldn't be sober. So I have to be proud of the break.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I always said I bend, I don't break. No, I fucking broke.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah,
I broke mentally. You know what I mean? Like I have, domestic violence situation and rape and all of that didn't break me. My mind broke.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but it's great at the same time because somebody else out there understands that everybody is touchable with this disease. It don't fucking matter who you are.
It doesn't discriminate, It doesn't matter what you've been. I say it all the time. It doesn't matter what you've been through, what you've accomplished, what kind of family you come from. Like, I've been working in the industry a really long time, and I've put almost every type of person into some sort of a facility, whether that be a cop, a lawyer, a doctor, you know what I mean? Celebrities, like whatever it is, like it doesn't discriminate.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And, it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's the most traumatizing disease, personally. Like, I know people get cancer, and that's extremely sad, and I'm not taking away from anybody. But to have to live with this disease, for me, because I only know that, not cancer, is just, it's terrible.
It is.
But when you cross over, it is so beautiful.
It is.
It is. Like, I lost my whole entire family. Nobody spoke to me.
Yeah.
It was it. I was done. You shipped me out here, and what I do, I OD'd.
Yeah.
And I woke up in a hospital, and that's the embarrassing part for me, but not when I'm telling the story.
Right.
Because somebody else OD'd. Yeah, Renee Graziano is not untouchable. Renee Graziano is a human being.
Right.
And I think that's what I want a lot of people to know, is that I'm human.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people get that confused, and I think this is a super amazing opportunity for you to, like, explain that to people that like, you know, people only see like what they see on TV or what they see on Instagram or on these social media platforms, and they only see that part, and they think that like almost like celebrities or people that have been on TV or had success in the entertainment industry are like, you know, live this lavish life that you know, they don't experience pain or depression or suicidal thoughts or drug addiction or like, you know, and I think that it's an amazing platform for you, you know, to explain that to people that like, you know, you aren't untouchable, you know what I mean? And it doesn't discriminate. And I like how you said you're grateful for your past. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for all the pain that I went through as well, because it's given me the power to be able to do what I do today.
Right.
You know?
And the pain lets you know how much what joy is.
Exactly.
You know, because we think we're experiencing joy when we're using. Like I thought I was fucking happy as shit.
Yeah.
Not at all. I was alone.
Yeah.
Even when I was with people, I was alone because I was the only girl in the group that used.
Yeah.
So it's like, let me go to the bathroom. Got to do a line. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let me pop a pill. And you know, a lot of people are angry at me still, like when it comes to the friend group.
Right.
And then there's the people that love me that are super close and are so happy.
And I think that's where you can kind of find out who your real friends are, right? And
Bingo.
I was talking about this the other day. Is like everyone wants to be giddy and nice and supportive when everything's good, but like when shit gets rough, right? When shit gets rough, who's gonna be there to try to help put the pieces back together, and who's gonna be there to still support you and say, you know, I understand, right?
Absolutely.
And a lot of people fucking disappear when that happens.
Absolutely. I OD'd September 18th I got sober again, you know, for a few months. And then I OD'd when I went back to Florida from New York. And it was very tragic because it was like everybody stopped talking to me, like literally everybody. And I was grasping at straws. And my sister Jennifer and I were already not speaking for a year. And it was like 13 months when this happened. And I was just perpetuating this bullshit life that I thought was real. I thought I was really living. And I was dying.
Yeah.
I was literally physically, emotionally, and mentally dying. I've now gotten pneumonia twice where, you know, I've never got sick like that before. Now things that have happened to me are so much more detrimental to my health. And it took me to lose my clothes.
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy, everybody, but you know, when I was in Texas, I was staying with a friend, and I took Xanax, absolutely, because it was handed to me.
Right. So
you know, if you hand me, I smoked weed, I took Xanax, you know what I mean, and apparently. She said her daughter knew something. Okay, now I don't know if that's true or not, but what I do know is that she used and I used. That's what I do know. Anyway, long story short, I left. We had a fight. I left. She wouldn't let me take my belongings when I left. And I really didn't think about it. So the next day in the hotel, my son makes the phone call for me. He's like, Ma, I'll take care of it. I'll pick it up. Because I told AJ I was done.
Right.
Like I didn't even want to breathe anymore. I just felt, I would never kill myself because I'm Catholic and you can't go to heaven. But I literally was in this state of, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care anymore. I don't care what happens. And my son, he's like, Mom, just hold on. And it was Phil O'Hara.
Yeah.
Who made the phone call, who got me into Recovery Unplugged. But by then, this girl had said, oh, you never called to get my stuff. But she had told my son, stop harassing me. My son doesn't harass nobody.
Right.
You know, and she kept well, she said she donated all my belongings. But with that, she donated my Bible, everything my father left me, my eyeglass collection, my sunglasses, and I know she didn't get rid of that. My Prada bags, my Gucci bags. I know you didn't donate my shit.
Yeah.
But it took that. And I know that sounds so bizarre, but I literally lost everything.
Yeah.
That was it. I couldn't go home. I had nothing to wear. I walked into detox with my fuzzy slippers with the orange and purple and hot fuchsia like fur, and a pair of sweats and a shirt, and that was it. I had nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like Renee Graziano.
Yeah, I was gonna say Renee Graziano with no fits.
Nothing.
No fits.
Oh, and I did have my Dolce & Gabbana pocketbook inside of my Gucci bag, and thank God I did, because she couldn't steal that from me, because that's like a $7,000 bag.
Right.
But, you know what I mean? So I had a $7,000 bag and no clothes.
Right.
But I was at the point where I want to sell my pocketbook.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? I was broken.
Yeah.
I was broken. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always money, but it's untouchable. I can't have it. So, I just was done.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like really what did it for me too. Was like I'd been to like I think like 4 or 5 sober livings at that point, and like, you know, whenever someone gets kicked out, they want to like take your shit with them, or take your shit with them. And I got to a point where I was down to like 1 pair of shoes and then 2 pairs of clothes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I'm sleeping under the bennies on the beach in Lake Worth down in South Florida.
God. Oh, that's where I lived.
Yeah. Well, I slept under the fucking pier right there.
Oh,
and
shit.
that was like really the eye opener for me. And again, like we talk about how we're grateful for like those situations, to where like sometimes like people like us, right, that are like at 100, right? Like we don't take ththings lightly. We do everything at 100. We got to ride it till the wheels fall off. And that's really what I had to do too. And you know, until I'm like sleeping outside. And like I come from a good family, just like, you know what I mean? You like, you know, it doesn't discriminate. Like my dad's a doctor, my mom's been a nurse for 47 years, you know, like they didn't raise me to be a drug addict. They never drank alcohol like that around me or did drugs. Like I wasn't brought up around that shit. And I found myself sleeping outside under a fucking bridge with a needle in my arm. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know if you remember, like, I don't know if they did this whenever you were, you know, in school, but they brought they used to bring the Dare guy in, right?
No, I think I'm too old for the Dare.
Well, you remember the Dare guy. Yeah, your son.
My son, he's 29.
Yeah. They used to bring the Dare guy in and you know, talk about like, don't do drugs. You know what I mean? I'm like, you're a kid. I'll never do drugs. And they show you a picture of a homeless guy. And if you do drugs, you're going to look like this guy. And like, I ended up like that guy. You know what I mean? Like I was the guy.
You know, listen, so my first time in treatment was 2010, and I was able to kick pain medication back then. But I remember they would use the word junkie. And I would be like, who are you talking to?
Right.
I am not that. Don't you ever call me that, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I remember that word in my house meant the guy under the bridge.
Yep.
So for me, I was like, I'm not that. I snort cocaine.
Yeah, right.
Like
I snort cocaine like a lady, you know?
I thought that the song by Billy Joel, she had the Dom Perignon on in the hand and the spoon up her nose. I thought that was about me. Like, because it had to be a big mouth. That was so fucking about me. Thank you, Billy Joel. Right. Oh, they kicked us off. Look at that shit.
Oh, man. For what? We didn't even do anything.
I don't know.
Because we were talking about drugs? Like, you think so?
Oh,
can you click that, Quinn?
Yeah. This is a conversation, not glorifying it by any means.
What does it say? What?
Age restricted. Okay, it's fine.
Okay,
it's
you just got to be over 18.
Okay, so let me...
We're getting a little too foul.
Just so we are very clear, let me make ourselves very clear. This is a talk about recovery, but in order to get to recovery, you have to talk about what you've experienced. And by no means are either one of us glorifying drug use. What we're basically saying is we both turned out to be the junkie in the Dare product.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer.
There's our disclaimer.
That's it. We turned out to be the low life that people talk about. However, we were still well dressed.
Yeah.
We were still in the crowds, so you didn't know it. So there's doctors and lawyers that are and I don't use the J word because I think the J word is disgraceful, and I think it
totally agree.
It's unfair for people. Like I hear these young kids calling themselves that.
Yeah.
And it bothers me because people have a negative, like they know what that word means and they visualize a person with a needle.
And that's like the problem, right? Is like that's like when people hear that word, right? The J word, Junkie, right? Like when they hear that, like they imagine the guy under the bridge with the needle in their arm, and that's not necessarily the case, right? Because like it is, because it's like people put that word and these people in a box, right? And this is something that I've really like even started to realize more lately, that like substance abuse and mental health, people try to separate us. right? This is a drug addict. This is the person with mental health. It's all one and the same, right? People with mental health have mental health. We use drugs and alcohol because we have a mental health issue, right? Because that's how we get out of ourselves, right? There's other people with mental health issues that lash out in different ways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it be excessive shopping, whether it be domestic violence, whether it be violence in general, just people act out in certain ways, and they put us
overeating.
Yeah, you know, and they try to like separate it. It's all one and the same. Mental health is mental health, and that's like really what I'm an advocate for these days, is just people with mental health in general. Whether you struggle with drugs and alcohol, whether you struggle with PTSD, anxiety, depression, you know, feeling like you're alone, being suicidal, like it's all one and the same. People just react in different ways.
Absolutely, because I am definitely not an addict before I am depressed, anxiety, now severe PTSD.
Right.
But I used at a young age because I was always picked on.
Yeah.
So I was told I wasn't pretty. And I'll get to why I say that now, because I used to believe I wasn't. However, the girls were jealous, so they would say, you're not pretty. They would always put me down. So for me, I believed you because I believed what I was told in my house. If my father said he was going to do something, he did it.
Right.
If my mother said dinner every day this time, it was done. So I took things literal.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and I'm learning now, like from the 4 agreements, don't take things personal and you know, be impeccable with your, like a lot of stuff now is making sense. And I'm 54. It didn't make sense at 40.
Right.
It didn't make sense at 48,
right.
50, 51, 52. And now I'm at a place in my life where it's like, I lost everything, but I have everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
My son and I have spoken every single day in the last 96 days.
I love how much you talk about your son.
Oh,
you
he's
know
my
what
whole
I mean?
life.
No, seriously, because like I know how much that relationship means to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know even back in the days when I was trying to help you, and it was always about that saving that relationship with your son, you know, and your grandson, and that's something like truly special, you know, that like no matter how rough it got, right, you always had that love for your son.
But you know what was crazy is he was losing it for me.
Yeah.
It took everything that happened, and he was like, "Mom, I can't get your stuff back, Mom. Like it's gone." I'm like, "Are you lying to me?" He's like, "Mom, you lost it. Like the chick is crazy, Mom."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh shit, I have to rebuild." And he has not answered my call in 96 days.
It's amazing.
I can't. And my daughter-in-law and I, like, are on the phone 4:00 on this side, 7 making plans for Disney. They're coming on the 20th.
Yeah.
Like they're getting on a plane with my 2 biggest grandkids, and they're only coming for 3 days just to see me.
That's amazing.
I was able to pay for that.
I love
you know
that.
what I mean?
It makes me so happy.
Like I thank you.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you know, a lot of people have to wait for the promises.
Yeah.
Mine are here.
Yeah.
So it's real. Like we do recover. My sister Jennifer, who didn't talk to me for a year and a half, now talks to me, and she's my manager again, along with my friend Chris. My sister Lana texted me yesterday to see how I was, and we started talking, and she was like, "Okay, I accept your apology." I was like, "Do you want to come out and see me? Like, I'll pay for it. I'll do whatever." And it just, like, I can't believe it, you know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Like, my mother, you know, she's older. She's 79, and she said, before I die, like, I need my kids to be okay. And the fact that we're all talking is, like, I feel like my father from above. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how happy I am, and I can't tell you how much I want to just keep sharing and sharing and sharing, because somebody out there is going to understand it's possible.
Yeah.
No matter how hopeless. You know, and it's not like you don't go through things. So I'm 96 days, but now, you know, my ex-husband He did an interview, which he should fucking live underground and under a rock. Yeah, tell me about it. He's actually lives in California, in Lake Tahoe, and he's threatening me.
Yeah.
The threats. And my son had to defend me, and it really bothered me to know that my son has trauma, and I never looked at it that way. Like, I literally gave my son trauma. Not just me. His father gave him more trauma than anybody.
Yeah.
But my son had said in a text message, like, you say you want to protect her and you say this, but you've done nothing but abuse her, and you're still trying to abuse her. If I was to read it to you, you'd cry to hear a child say that. And it was that very given moment that I was like, fuck yeah, that's my son. That's my son. That's not his. It might be his biological, but it's that's mine. That's mine.
Yeah.
And it's just been wonderful with my child.
Yeah, I love it. I love the relationships that you've had, and I think it's really important for everybody to hear that too, you know, that like it's crazy, like when you get sober, like shit gets better, you know, and people recover at different paces, right? Like some relationships are healed, you know, and some take time, you know, and just being able to heal the ones that you have in this short amount of time, you know, it really is a long time for you as far as like.
Well, it is. I've been trying to get sober since
I feel like
2010.
Me and Phil O'Hara have been like taking turns trying to fucking help you. Like,
shout out to Phil O'Hara.
Fucking shout out to Phil, man. But it's a beautiful thing, and I think that like, you know, a lot of people get hopeless that like, I know for me and like my dad, you know, in our relationship, and it's been 9 years since I've spoke to my dad, you know, and you know, it's something that bothered me along the way, you know, but really just having my mom in my life, you know what I mean, and rest in peace with my brother, and you know, and I say it all the time, like Renee, that's how far back we go. Renee actually got to meet my brother, and it was one of the first podcasts I ever did, and you know, still have a picture with you two, and you know, my sister and my brother, and those are all the relationships I need, you know, and they were repaired after a year. I got to go home and, you know, sit down for Thanksgiving. I remember I hadn't gone home in a year, and things were, you know, we had, you know, communication, but things were weird, you know, for about a year. And I finally got to go home and sit down at a table and apologize, you know, and clear my side of the street. And it's just kind of like you did with your family too. And once you get to that clear head, you know, and you can actually, they can hear it in your voice. They know. Oh, right?
Hell does my family know.
You know?
You know, I didn't, and let me say this, you know, I might not have robbed money and this and that, but I robbed them of something way more valuable, which was their peace and their time. Because you cannot get back time.
Exactly.
So for me, those are the things that I'm realizing. And I'm grateful that although AJ's already grown, 29, 4 children, that he still has room for me, you know, and yeah, man.
Time is everything, you know?
Yep.
And that's...
But time takes time.
It does.
Those fucking sayings, they, you know, like,
they're true.
Take it easy, or one day at a time. I'm like, fuck yeah, what do you make one day? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it literally is.
It's the truth. And I think your fucking TikTok shut off. I don't know what happened. But
oh, they kicked us off. Yeah.
But time is everything, you know what I mean? And I say that, and I as I went through like my 20s, right? You know what I mean? And I repaired the relationships and spent time with my family, and I went through phases of materialistic shit. And don't get me wrong, I like nice shit, you know, like, you know, I'm a little designer, you know what I mean?
Why
but
not?
Like, I feel like, you know, I'm 30 now, right? And I really realized that, you know, I've watched my parents, you know, get older, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I still haven't fully repaired that relationship with my dad. Still haven't had that conversation. And it's, you know, I did rob my mom of time and peace, you know, and today I try to spend as much time as I can with them, because tomorrow is never promised. You know, when my brother passed away, this year will be 5 years ago. Isn't it crazy? It's been 5 years, but
so sorry.
It really put it in perspective for me, like what's important, you know, and it's time, and you can't get that shit back, you know, and you never fucking know when something's going to happen. And I do everything in my power today to try to spend as much time. You know what I mean? Presents are cool, right? Whatever, like, but time is everything. You know what I mean? Your son and your grandchildren are coming out here, and you're going to go to Disneyland together.
Okay, my grandson asked me for gold teeth. He asked me for gold teeth.
You know?
Yeah, no, like that. There's nothing greater knowing that I get to, like, I bought tents for the room. I bought all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like everybody's got matching Mickey ears, and you know, there's nothing greater than knowing my grandson. He thinks I'm a superhero. Do you know? He actually thinks I'm a mermaid because I've been in treatment so much. So it's like, where you going? Oh, I have the mermaid convention. And what's great about that is on Mob Wives, we had a mermaid parade. So I have pictures of me dressed as
You
a
got
mermaid.
proof. You got
He's
proof.
like, Nay, are you really a mermaid? I said, yes. He's like, Nay, how come you could walk on the land and the mermaids can't? I said, because I'm the boss. So he's like, well, then I'm going to be the boss ninja.
Right.
Now he's a DJ. Wait until I show you the picture of him DJing.
Really?
You're going to cry.
How old are your grandchildren?
My grandson Anthony is 6.
Mm-hmm.
My granddaughter Olivia Jade is 3. And the twins, Ariana Juliet and Adelina Joe, are going to be a year on the 7th of March. Yeah, everybody in the family
Time
is AJ.
Flies, man. Time
Yep,
flies.
right?
It's crazy.
From picking me up at the airport the first time at Legacy.
I remember.
Yep.
Like, you're going to pick up Renee Graziano from Mob Wives. And I'm like, thinking like, damn, I remember that show. And I remember the first time we met. And again, it's probably been like, 6 years now?
Yep.
5-6 years. And I started watching YouTube videos. I'm like, Renee Graziano. I'm like, this is who I'm picking up from the airport. Holy shit. You know what I mean? I made sure I had a bottle of water, a couple of snacks. You know what I mean? You got, I won't get too into it, but you had some fucking, I think Xanax hanging out your nose. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I pop pills. I don't snort.
You had something hanging out your nose. Maybe some cocaine. Who knows?
Probably cocaine.
Goddamn.
Yeah, oh wait, because I had to go to detox.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was cocaine.
Yeah, that was cocaine hanging out your nose. I love it.
I'm
man.
so grateful.
I know, man. It's like you're a totally different person today. You know.
I know.
I love it. You know.
Like I know I am.
You got life to you.
I look good.
Yeah.
Like I'm 54 and I look better than these kids out here that are in their 30s.
You're stunting on them.
Hey.
For real. I love it, man. I'm so proud of you, you know,
Thank you.
I think that, you know, like you said, you're going to be a big advocate, right? You're going to start doing some outreach and really trying to speak some places and stuff like that. I'd love to help you out with that too.
Oh, I would.
Getting you
Yes,
some gigs.
absolutely.
We're gonna go to the Up Next Fighting and go to that. You know, and they'll probably have us go in the ring and speak on mental health for a couple minutes, which would be super cool. So we got some stuff brewing, you know.
Yep. And now I live out here.
Yeah, now you're in LA.
Yeah.
So there's so much opportunity out here with that too, and I think that a lot of people that you know, are in a celebrity status, let's just say, right, are really fearful to speak on the subject or be advocates for it. And I'm super proud of you for just being like, you just want to help people. You know what I mean?
That's it.
And that's what I've seen in my own recovery is like, as long as I wake up, right, and it's something that, you know, I obviously I like to do videos and stuff like that and really get a message out there. But like, as long as I wake up with the intent to help somebody else, like God has really just like made everything else like flourish in my life, you know, from you seeing me being a little marketer for a fucking treatment center back, you know, 6 years ago to, you know,
30 beds.
Yeah.
Strong.
You know, it's really flourished. And it's just because like I wake up with that intent, right? Where it's not even like, it's like how everything is gone with this whole process of like, whether it's my life or the business, it's just all like fallen into place, right? Like, yeah, we've had curveballs along the way and ran into issues and like not given up and like always just like worked from a pure heart and everything's just flourished, you know? So I'm like excited to see like what goes on with you and the things that, you know, you acquire, you know, on this journey of just really trying to help people because like you have a very, very big voice for people, you know what I mean? And you have an amazing platform to be able to like really change lives, you know what I mean? Like,
and I got one hell of a story.
You do. It's you know, it's intense, you know what I mean? And it's like you gave honestly like the PG version, you know? Like
that was very clean.
Yeah, that was I again, we've known each other a long time, so there's certain things that like people don't even realize, and whenever you get to have those one-on-one conversations with people and let them know like the nitty-gritty, like that no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, no matter what status you've had, no matter how much you've been beaten fucking down in your life by men or women or whoever the fuck it is, like, there is redemption, right? Like,
Yes.
there's a story to be told, and there's accomplishments to be made. And you're really doing that in your fucking life, man.
Thank
Like,
you.
I see you over there. You're advocating with Lamar Odom, and you know what I mean. Like, you're in
For
the
me,
mix, man. I see you do some amazing
so
podcasts.
important. You know what's crazy? My name means reborn. And yeah, Renee.
I didn't know that.
Renee means, if you look in the Catholic, and for me, it's, you know, I'm Catholic, but it means reborn, rebirth. And I sometimes sit here and I think, I've been born. Well, let's see. Birth. I've died on the operating table. I've had 4 ODs, 4, maybe 5. So what's that?
Jesus fucking Christ.
I've been reborn.
Excuse my French. That was a little
Yeah,
hard.
like 8 times. Like, it just is so bizarre.
You're here for a reason.
That my name means
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Like, fucking talk about a cat with 9 lives. Like,
Hey, I'm on my last leg. That's why I had to stop now.
Yeah.
I got one left.
Oh, man.
I gotta save that one for when I get old.
Crazy, you know, and it's that there's a reason you're here, you know, and you know, again, like, I wish my brother would have had that many, you know, opportunities, and don't get me wrong, he had quite a few, you know, where you know, he shouldn't have made it as long as he did.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there that I think that have been in the same situation as you, and like, they're really just like, they need to realize, like, look, you're not gone, right? You're here for a reason, right? Like, what's your purpose, right?
Yep.
Like, start to find out, like,
Your purpose.
what is your purpose? You know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with in life is like, okay, I'm alive, but what the fuck do I do?
Correct.
You
So,
know?
you know what? And I for me, and I say this because I know it in my heart, and my family knows this. I've been trying to save people since I'm a little girl. Like, I would bring home families. Like, if you met when you meet my mother,
I've been on the phone with her a couple times.
Yes, you have.
She's on point too.
Yeah. Oh, yes, she
She's
is.
on point.
79 and on point.
Yeah.
I would bring home families and be like, Daddy, you have to take care of them. And for me, I've always felt like God gave me a extra, so I'm supposed to share it.
Right.
So if I have to share it, I can't share it monetarily because now I got 4 grandkids that have to go to college. But I can share it where I could put people in a place to live and survive.
Yeah.
And just, if I could do it, anybody could do it. You're
Right.
not too old, you're not too young, because I'm a testament to an older woman getting clean and sober. So
Right.
it's possible.
Right.
You know, that the excuses that I've had, the lies. You know, I always say I've been lied to by so many people, but nobody lied to me worse than I lied to myself. Nobody.
That's the truth.
Yep.
That is the truth. I like that. And I feel like we can, and a lot of people do, right? Come up with every excuse in the world as to, like, this is why I get high and I'll just never be anything. And, like, I truly believe, right? And this is, some people would disagree, right? That there's some people that are too far gone. But I truly believe that there's not one person on this planet that's too far gone. You know what I mean? Like, to accomplish something. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, there's recovery is possible for anybody.
For
and
anybody
doesn't
and
matter
anything.
what age, again, like, it doesn't matter, like, what any stipulation, right, that you might have on yourself. Like, it's cap, right? It's fucking cap, and, like, you can get this shit. You know?
Yeah. All you got to do is ask for help. So for me, that was like the hardest thing is asking somebody to help me.
Yeah.
So when I was in Texas, when I transferred over to their IOP, it was not for me by any means. And Gina and Lamar had reached out to me when I first, because the girl sold the story on top of it to TMZ.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
she leaked it. So
I remember this.
yeah. And then they made the phone call, and, you know,
That's so fucked up.
you know what? It's good. You know what? It's okay. You know why? She might have robbed everything, but she didn't take my family.
There you go.
And she didn't take my life.
There you go.
So you
You're
know
a
what?
glass
sweetie
half full
pie,
type of chick. There we go.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, but you know what? You could have that.
Yeah.
You could have that, because I'll get that 20 fucking million times over.
There you go.
You know why? Because I'm not a bad person. Because
Yeah.
I walked into that house and said, here's money for groceries. Here's this. Here's for your children. But you still robbed me. And that's
Yeah.
okay. You
Yeah.
might have robbed material things, but you have not robbed me of who I am. And who I am is a beast when I get out there and do things over.
I already know.
A pretty beast.
Yeah. I know. Family's everything to you. And
Everything.
you really inspire me with that. And I've really, I think in your 20s, right? Like you kind of get moving and grooving and you live like a fast life. And I think most people do. And you're supposed to, right? Your 20s are supposed to shape you, right?
Of
and
course.
Like, I got clean at 22 years old, so I kind of started a little earlier than most people on like personal development.
Earlier.
Yeah. And, but like my family, man, it's so important to me, and people that are family oriented, like they really inspire me because my family's small. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't have like a big family, and like I said, my brother passed away, but like my mom, my brother, my sister, and me, that's pretty much it, right? But like that's just so important to me, right? Just the phone calls with my mom, right? I've literally been in the middle of a podcast and you can ask the producer. My mom calls, I'll stop this shit and I'll answer the phone. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I can be in a business meeting. I can be wherever. If my mom calls my phone, I'm stopping. I don't give a shit what kind of deal's going on or whatever's going on. In the gym, in the sauna, whatever, I'm answering that phone.
As you should.
Absolutely. Like I say it all the time. I could give my mother the world, right? And it would not amount to the time that I took from her or the peace that I disturbed and the blood pressure problems that she has today because of me and my brother fucking shit up.
But you know what? Let me tell you something. I'm pretty sure, because I'm a mom, she's just so grateful to have her son.
She is.
Period. Forget about worrying about, you could give it, she has her son. She lost one child.
Yeah.
And that is probably the worst thing in the world for a parent, but she still has you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I know that sounds like, just trust me.
I know.
Your
and
mom's good, man. Your
yeah, no,
mom's
she
good.
is. And it's like, it's.
And your father will come around.
Yeah. And what's crazy is like recently, and, God bless my mother. Again, I can't say it enough that she's the most sweetest, understanding, supportive woman. And I've been through things lately, and she's just been so supportive. And, like she doesn't give a shit. I can, Christmas presents and shit, like I can get her shit. She doesn't give a fuck about none of that.
No.
None of it. All she wants is her time and to know that I'm sober and she can sleep well at night.
That's exactly what my mother.
That's it. You know what I mean? She doesn't care about nothing else. She's very simple woman. You know what I mean? Whenever it comes to stuff like that, and just the simple phone calls that we have don't amount to those gifts. I try to buy my mom a house. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. I literally tried to buy my mom a house, and she was like, "No." You know what I mean? No, Nick. You know what I'm saying? I swear to God,
how cute.
I swear to God on my life. So
Oh,
now
I
my little
believe
brother's
you.
just living in the house. Okay. And she was like, "No, do not. No."
Wow.
You know what I mean? And just because like that's how she is, you know what I mean?
Wow.
She's the one that showed me how to be independent, right? She's the one that showed me work ethic. She's the one that showed me how to be kind to everybody and not to discriminate no matter who you are or where you come from. Like that woman showed me everything,
Wow.
My father wasn't necessarily like that, but talking about my dad, and it's crazy you said like, your dad will come around, and I guess like recently, and I guess I'll talk about it, but like recently, his best friend has been like super, super unhealthy, right? And he's battling lung cancer, and it's somebody that I've been close with, and my family's been close with, and he's always communicated with us, and he's not doing well, and he's probably doesn't have that much time left on this earth, and it's my dad's only friend. My dad's just retired from being a surgeon for 30 plus years, you know what I mean, 40 years or something like that. And, really put it in perspective for him that his best friend dying, and he's always been like an atheist in a sense, right? Like never believed in God. My dad never believed in God, never went to church, never thought all that was bullshit, right? And he's seeing his best friend like deteriorate, right? And he doesn't have that much time left on this earth. And he told him, he said, "Tom, wherever you go, I want to go with you. I want to go wherever you go." Right. And my dad's not doing well right now, like as far as like mental health wise and retiring and not knowing what his purpose is now, right? He was a surgeon for so long and busy all the time, and now he's retired and he's not good, you know? And his best friend's dying. And he said, wherever you go when you pass away, I want to go there too when I pass away. And he said, if you want to go where I go, you need to get right with God, and you need to make right with the people that you've done wrong, right? So he recently told Tom, right, that he was going to reach out to my mom, right, because he cheated on my mom when we were in 3rd grade and left her for his PA and had a child with her and left my mom. Never apologized for that.
Cheaters normally don't.
No, and he never did, and it's been 20-something years, right? He called my mom last week, and he told my mom that was the worst thing that he ever did in his entire life, right? And that he apologized, and that was the worst mistake that he ever made in his entire life, was doing that to her. And Tom said that, you know, he's supposedly supposed to reach out to me soon after 9 years of not speaking. And this is the closest I've ever been to speaking to my father in 9 years. Wow. Been my sister's wedding. We didn't even speak. My brother's memorial, didn't speak.
Wow.
So this is all just kind of like happening like now. You know what I mean? And it's something that it's mind-blowing to me, but I got past the resentment a long time ago, right? Because it used to keep me sick, right?
Right.
I used to fucking relapse because I just wanted that love from my dad, right? I wanted that just that acceptance, and I never got it, right? And even as a kid, you know what I mean? He always wanted me to go to the military and do all these things, and I harbored that. And through working the steps of Narcotics Anonymous and doing like an inventory on myself, like I learned how to like let go of that, right? To let go and only clear my side of the street, send my letter, you know what I'm saying? And I sent letters, and you know, and I've done everything in my power to be a good person, you know, since I've gotten clean. And that's all I can do, right? All I can do is like
You're
my part.
responsible for you.
You know? But I told myself, you know, after a couple of years, I used to be like, fuck my dad, you know what I mean? And him, this and that, and I was a shithead when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Like, he put up with it, you know, like I put him through shit too, but should you ever disown your kid? Absolutely not. Would I ever disown my kid? Absolutely not. But if he was to call me today, and after a couple years of working on myself, if he was to call me, I would answer that phone with open arms. You know what I mean? Because my biggest fear is my dad passing away, because he's 75 years old now, you know, he's in his 70s. My dad passing away and me not being able to have that conversation or repair that relationship. It's a big fear of mine.
Well, I guarantee you will. I guarantee you, because if your father is losing his best friend, he's going to understand a little bit more. Like, I think I just recently started to realize how much my mother is important to me.
Yeah.
Like, I always wanted to be my father.
Yeah.
You know, it was about my dad. Mm-hmm. And my mother and I will have these horrible arguments. But now I'm starting to say, wait, she could die. And, you know, it's reversed for you, obviously. It's the parent, and, you know, the parent realizing, oh, my God, this is going to happen before I leave. And I think maybe your father did that. I'm not positive, but maybe it was also a way to protect himself from all that hurt. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, because then he'd have to face what he did.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Because we don't like to face what we do.
And that's literally it, right? Yeah. It's literally it, because at this point, when people ask me, what is it? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it? Give me the situation that caused that, right? And I don't got none. You know what I mean? I don't got none besides the fact that I was a crazy ass fucking kid. You know what I mean?
But you're sober 8 years, so that's not the
100%.
case.
So it's not anything at this point. You know what I mean? It's only some people just deal with things differently.
Have you reached out to him?
Years and years ago.
So why don't you do it? Why don't you? Why do you have to wait? Why do you have to wait for him? If he doesn't accept it when you do it, maybe he doesn't know how to do it, because you're a man.
No, I think that's what it is at this point.
You're a man. Like, you know, he's got to have this real hard conversation with his son about what he did to his son's mother.
Yeah.
And he abandoned his family. So, you know, technically, yeah, okay, he's fucked up for that, right? But sometimes they only do the best with what they can.
No.
So you know what, Nick? Like, and I don't ever discuss this. And just I would like to put your heart at ease. So my dad has stepped out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know what that feels like. He never left us, but I know what it feels like. And I know when my father was dying that if he could take everything back, he would have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes you just, you have to, at this point, just forgive it because what it doesn't serve you no purpose.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like you're still carrying a brick around.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just, pick that phone up and say, hey, Dad, I don't know if you feel like talking yet. I heard about Tom. I want you to know if you need me, I'm here for you. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Forget everything else. You lost your brother. You don't want to lose. You know what I mean?
100%. It's my biggest fear,
So then it doesn't
I don't have a lot of fears these days, but that's my biggest one,
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
You're right.
because you're a smarter, stronger man that's still doing the right thing by your mom. So it's no longer serving a purpose of hate.
Yeah.
Like, that's how me and my sister are. Like, it's, my sister hung me when I was 6, and she just didn't like me very much, and then I didn't like her very much, and I said some foul shit to her. But my sister's 9 years older than me, so I'm 54. She's going to be 63, right? Yeah, right. The last thing and she's unhealthy. The last thing I want is for my sister to die and for me not to have a relationship.
Yeah.
Same with anybody that I love.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to let anything somebody else did stand in the way of me actually feeling better about myself and going that extra mile.
Yeah.
And that is your father.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So my lash is going to fall. I'm pretty sure that if you made the call first, you would talk to him.
I think so. I really do. And I honestly, like, you just really push me even more to, like, do that. You know what I mean? Because, like, it is my biggest fear. And I really think that he doesn't know how to articulate the words and express himself because that's how he's always been, even as us as kids, his way of, like, love was like, we go to his house on the weekends. It was like, okay, let's go to Toys R Us. You know what I mean? Or let's get the new video game, or let's go on a vacation. Like, it was never the intimate conversations. You know what I mean? It wasn't, let's throw a baseball in the backyard.
He's also a surgeon. He has to deal with a lot of death.
Yeah. No, he's very cold.
Because he has to. He
had
to
no,
be.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't imagine having all that emotion for every damn patient. You would die yourself.
100%. No, 100%.
Yeah.
I never even thought about it.
Yeah,
like that,
absolutely. Yeah. Like, I don't think my father I know my father had a heart, but could he show he had a heart?
Right.
Absolutely
No.
not.
Yeah.
Weakness. You can't show weakness, and a surgeon can't neither.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure your father has dealt with a lot of death from patients.
100%.
So that right there is traumatizing.
Yeah.
And then losing his son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah. He's been through a lot in his life, and I guess I haven't really, like, considered, I've always known that he doesn't know how to articulate, like, his emotions. There's very few times I've seen him cry in my entire life, you know what I mean? Or say the words, I love you, or good job, you know what I mean? And it wasn't because maybe he didn't love me or maybe he didn't think I did a good job, but he didn't know how to express that.
Not at all. You think my father went around saying, you're beautiful,
Yeah.
go Renee? No, he didn't,
Yeah,
because it's just not like,
Yeah.
What I found out about my dad when he passed was his first time he got arrested was for robbing cornflakes to feed his sister. I found out that
Wow.
my father's sisters were molested by the mother's boyfriend, and the man died in an electrical fire when my father was 12 and shipped away. There's heartache. Maybe there's heartache with his parents. You know what I mean? Sometimes we don't know what they're going through or they've been through unless we ask them as well.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't articulate it well because somebody didn't give it to him the right way.
Right. No, you're right.
Damn,
Renee.
Therapy with Dr. Quackenbush.
That's wild. Usually I'm the one over here giving therapy. I'm getting therapy today.
Yeah,
That's
well,
fucking-
you know what? God puts people together for a reason.
For sure. No, I appreciate you. And again, like I said, like I can't wait to see how many people you help, you know what I mean, on this journey. And again, like I've seen you for years, you know what I mean, and you're on point right now.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
And I plan on staying here because I'd never, ever, ever, ever risk losing my son or my grand.
There it is. Family.
Never in a
Family.
million years. What I know today, in the last 96 days, I wouldn't sacrifice. Nothing in the world could get in my way now.
I'm sure your son's like ecstatic too. You know, I'm proud of you.
He texts me, Mom, how's your day? Or, hey, he calls me Home Slice. What's up, Home Slice? Like, he'll be like, yeah, could you spot me 100? Like, we got jokes, and I sent him a few gifts.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mom, what are you doing out there?
Yeah.
No, I was like, no, I'm good.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. He's like, all right, okay. Can I keep it though?
Right.
Do I got to pay it back? I'm
Yeah.
like, no, give it to your children.
It's
you know.
It's nice to be able to do stuff like that. You know.
And he
dope.
appreciates it. When I was using, he wouldn't appreciate it. It was more of a take than it is now. Like, oh my God, thank you. You know, AJ's never taken anything from me, never even been in my pocketbook.
Yeah.
But he had no respect for me.
Yeah.
And
I remember back whenever you would say like my son won't speak to me. You know what I'm saying? And like me and my son, and like it was always like that relationship that you were concerned about. You know what I mean? And
well, he's my flesh and blood.
Yeah, no,
he's
that's-
all I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
and I look at him and he don't drink and he don't drug. And
Yeah.
for me, I did something right.
yeah, no, for sure.
I can't
Yeah.
figure it out yet, but I'm good.
Yeah,
you know?
no, for sure.
Yep.
I'm thinking the same like with my siblings too. It's like I think me and my brother fucking showed them what not to do. You know what I mean? Like it's it doesn't run in my family, you know what I mean? But seeing us, like even my little brother, he's like, oh hell no, they don't really drink, they don't go, they don't want to fucking not use their turning signal. You know what I mean? Like they see
Left
me
hand.
they see me in handcuffs too many times in fucking jail, and you know fucking fist fighting my brother in the middle of the night, my mom coming out. Like I think about this shit and I'm just like, damn, I can't believe some of the shit I put my family through, you know?
But you're doing what's right now.
Yeah,
And 8
yeah.
years strong.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
trust me, they don't even think about that anymore because you've shown and proved yourself.
Yeah, no, exactly. And they're very, without their support, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have the self-confidence that I have, you know, without them, you know, being behind me. And like, shout out to my fucking family for always just like being supportive and on my team, you know, and like no matter what I've gone through, you know, like they've always been there, you know, my mom, my brother, my sister, and
God
so
bless.
supportive, you
Yeah.
know. So
Good stuff.
Renee Graziano fucking coming in hot. I can't wait, man. I can't wait for this one. This one's sick. If people want to find you, it's real easy to find Renee Graziano on Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff.
Yep.
Again, if you're struggling, and I think really women with women, I think that's a very big factor, that a lot of people think that phone is fucking hard to pick up and like, oh, well, it's Renee Graziano, she's not going to talk to me. Like, no, you know, reach out to her. You know what I mean?
Please.
Like, have a conversation with her, especially if you're a woman. You know what I mean? I think that you're very good at empowering other women, and
Thank you.
you've been through a lot of things that I think women have been through, you know what I mean,
Absolutely.
and that
Yep.
has caused mental health issues or substance abuse. So like don't be scared to reach
Nope,
out to her.
Not at all. I'm actually friendly.
Yeah, she is regardless of what you saw in Mob Wives, you know what I'm saying, she's
Well,
very
I was a little high.
yeah. That was a cocaine, but you know,
Oh shit! That was actually the Xanax that made me
Fucking Xanax,
angry.
man.
It wasn't the cocaine.
you never know if it's the coke or the Xanax, you
It
know.
was definitely the Xanax.
You know, I hear that a lot of people get fucking feisty
Oh my
on
God!
Xanax, dude.
Very angry.
God
Very
damn.
angry.
Well, feel free to reach out to her.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on the
course.
podcast. And
Love
like I
it.
said, we'll be doing a lot more stuff together. So get used to it.
Or else.
Or else. There we go.